New at 4, Carlee Russell has been arrested. This comes after she says she made up the story about being abducted after stopping to help a toddler on a busy Alabama highway. Russell is now facing criminal charges. Those are a misdemeanor, false reporting to law enforcement, and falsely reporting an incident. Russell made headlines after she disappeared after calling 911 on July 13th. She returned home 2 days later and told investigators she was kidnapped. Last week, her attorney said she made the entire story up.
Welcome back, my free thinkers, to another video as I invite you to go on this journey with me as I unravel this crazy story with Carlee Russell, who made national news for being kidnapped and then now exposed as a liar. So stay tuned to get more details as I go through this story from start to finish and to see if these new charges that she's now facing will actually stick.
On Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the River Med, like to get off by the River Med.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
Yes.
Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Like towards Tuscaloosa or towards 280?
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound? Or how old do they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Is that a sedan or SUV?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
Right now? Okay. So is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No, no cars are anywhere.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right, and do they have shoes on?
No,
Shoes?
not that I can see. I can't really see that. What?
Okay. All right, I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, now after hearing that, even the operator sounded a little funny to me. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comment box. Is any value from this? If you've been following this story, like, share, and subscribe, and put an I subscribed in the box. I'll be sure to get back to as many of you as I can. It's really helping me out when you like, share, and subscribe because it puts me out there. The algorithm will feature me and put me out as a new channel so I can get seen and get viewers and get the word out and get free thinkers and get a community started and really try to see what you guys are thinking and feeling about these topics and what topics you may want me to cover in the future. So thanks so much. I appreciate you so much for doing that. But it's weird how, first of all, a little backstory on the 25-year-old Carlee Russell. She apparently sees, as you hear on this call, a toddler walking 600 yards, which I don't play football, but 600 yards is, I would think, equivalent to 6 football fields, barefoot, and then sees a man later on with orange hair and a bald spot, accompanied by a woman, and they apparently kidnap her and take the child. So this is all kind of sounding weird. When this was released, I was like, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment box. Were you thinking that she was really kidnapped at first? Were you thinking that it was a hoax? Were you thinking that, what were you thinking? At this moment of me seeing this, I was thinking this was a little odd, this was a little off. But in first hearing these stories, you're always pushed by the media to believe them and to believe the narrative. And I always question you, my critical thinkers, my free thinkers, to think critically on all of these things being pushed on you by the media. But despite this all being pushed by the media, and with the pressure of that, it made a lot of resources come out in just 48 hours to look for this girl. And the girl, the toddler that she apparently said she saw, I think she said it was a boy. And this is serious business, you know? Child trafficking is serious. I'm doing a video on that, and I want you to check that out. That's the plug for it. But child trafficking is serious, and abducting and kidnapping is serious. Any person, period. So everybody was called out. The media put pressure on the police, and FBI, all these resources were called out. People were praying, fundraisers, you name it. And it's just crazy how this all develops, and it comes out 48 hours later. She apparently walks home on her own. She escaped after being fed crackers and being told to be naked and having pictures taken of her. Somehow she escapes. And what about the child? What about the abductors? The story has so many holes in it, you know what I mean? And on top of that, they found her cell phone, or they didn't find her cell phone, and they found her wig. So it's like, these things aren't adding up, you guys, you know what I mean? And as the story started to progress, I started to think, I don't think this is making sense. I don't think this is true.
Well, tonight the attorney of Carlee Russell speaking out after a meeting with the Hoover Police Department about his client, Carlee Russell, who recently faked her own disappearance. WDHN's Robert Smith Jr. joins us live in the newsroom with more on the story that is continuing to gain statewide as well as nationwide attention. Robert, what did her attorney have to say today?
Yeah, hey, Mike, Russell's attorney did confirm that he expects charges to be filed against his client for faking her own disappearance. Now, this morning, Emory Anthony met with the Hoover Police Chief, Nick Durzis, about his client, Carlee Russell. This comes after a press conference on yesterday when Chief Durzis read a statement from her attorney, Anthony, stating that the 25-year-old nursing student was not abducted along the highway of I-459 in Hoover the night of July 13th, and she did not see a child walking along the interstate. Today, the meeting with the police department was short and a productive one.
It's a great meeting, a short meeting, just to try to identify some things about where we go from here, responsibilities that we need to take care of. But it was a great meeting, and I want to commend the Hoover Police Department and the Chief of Police for their action and how they had handled everything. So hopefully we can get to the end game, as they say, of this particular thing.
Now, Anthony says he always wants to make sure his client is taken care of, as she is dealing with some issues. He also asked for prayers for them all, including the police department, at this time. Stay with WDHN as we continue to follow this case on any new developments. Mike?
As you hear after that, and after people speculating, and after the police actually finding her phone records and everything, they realized that she lied about it. She came out, and her attorney said these are the charges that she may be facing. Do you think that she should be facing these charges? Do you think that she wasted a lot of people's time, valuable time and resources? Do you think that she's remorseful? In my expert opinion, I feel there are some mental issues. I don't know if she had relationship issues, family issues, working as a nursing student, stress. I was a nursing student at one point, and it's highly stressful, extremely stressful. So she could have been dealing with those things, and my empathy, goes out to her for that. But I do think there are some repercussions that she needs to face. And in my experience, there are definitely some mental issues that she's dealing with, and those need to be addressed.
Can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data included several internet searches in the days leading up to their disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time.
Wow, after all of those searches, and I remember when I saw the one posted about the Amber Alert, and I was like, this is a hoax. And then the other one started coming out about the texting, her checking into Red Roof. She was staying with her friend the whole time, the 2 days, the 48 hours. She was texting her boyfriend, she blocked her boyfriend, then unblocked him, all these things that they uncovered in her records, and some things they didn't release, due to her privacy, and I appreciate them doing that because, like I said, I believe that she does have mental issues. Her mother even said she had to battle physically and mentally, and she's letting on in that language, to my understanding, that there may have been some issues, some stress that she was unable to deal with, some things she was not able to cope with, or that was her coping mechanism, that was her way of coping with it. And people have immature and mature coping mechanisms, and this may have been an immature one, extremely, to the fact of involving the whole nation in a search, and people that just, all these resources that came into play. And it just goes to show that you have to look at things closer and deeper, and take your time, and don't let your emotions guide you. Take your time and really think about, is this true? Could these things be adding up? But it's so hard because we are social, emotional beings to get triggered by these types of stories because they're triggering. And in this day and age with child trafficking, it's very serious business to be talking about things like that.
Thank you, Captain. Good afternoon. Earlier today, Hoover Police detectives obtained warrants for the arrest of Carlee Russell through the Hoover Municipal Court for her actions related to faking her kidnapping and subsequently making false statements to detectives as they investigated this case. Her decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city and even across the nation as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait. Numerous law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, began working tirelessly not only to bring Carlee home to her family, a located kidnapper that we know now never existed. Many private citizens volunteered their time and energy into looking for a potential kidnapping victim that we know now was never in any danger. This story opened wounds for families whose loved ones really were victims of kidnappings, some of which even helped organize searches in hopes they could find Carlee's alive so her family would not experience the pain and suffering that they felt when their loved ones never returned home. As we know, actions can have consequences, and that's why we're here today. This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. We initially presented this case to District Attorney Lanice Washington, who agreed to handle prosecution through district court. After consulting with the Circuit Court of Jefferson County Bessemer Division, the case was referred back to municipal court for charging because the only applicable charges were misdemeanors. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime. Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system.
I guess what I wanted to do as my closing statement on this, or closing thoughts rather, is this is why I was following the case from beginning to end, and I have been following this case from the very beginning when I first heard about it, just not as closely as I am now. That's why I'm doing this video. But I feel like she should face some repercussions, but as we find out, the charges that she's being faced with are just 2 misdemeanors, and the public are furious about it, so much that they're going to legislation to make sure that people don't make false reports, false kidnapping reports, false reports, period. And it reminds me of the Jussie Smollett case with the fake hate crime. And I think both of these individuals have mental issues that need to be evaluated mentally. And that needs to be taken, mandated even, I would say, along with the misdemeanor charges that she's facing. I'm curious to see if they don't implement some type of mental issue to appease her or appeal her in some way with these 2 misdemeanor charges, or they'll just go with them. She's posted bond, so I don't know. It's interesting to see if these charges will stick, and that's what I want to hear from you. Do you think these charges should stick? Do you think she should be charged even more than this? And if so, what? What do you think she should be charged with? And I think the 2 misdemeanor charges with her issues that are mental and that they probably won't release to us, and my empathy goes out to her because I do work with people with mental illness, that I think as a first-time offender, I think it's more important to get this mental evaluation and mandate that on her to see where she's at mentally. And then I think she should probably face these 2 misdemeanor charges. And obviously, I don't think anyone should be making false reports or false kidnapping reports. It's a really bad thing, and I'll go even deeper because she's a black woman, and black women are seen as in society not taken seriously when they make these accusations about being kidnapped or being domestic violence abused, rape, any type of sexual assault. These charges aren't looked at in society as there's a rescue for the black woman. And then at the same time involving a child, a toddler in it, it's like, this is not the state to be doing that in. in the climate of the world as we see with Sound of Freedom. People are being abducted, especially children, and being trafficked, especially children, for sex, and it's disgusting. And she made a mockery of that with black women being assaulted and being kidnapped, and then with children being trafficked and kidnapped. And for that, I think she should face these charges. Tell me how you feel in the comment box. I appreciate you watching this video so much. Look out for my other videos. And as always, take care, Godspeed, and be well.